it's no more news that there is an administrator. It's no more new now. There, Vice Admiral Ibis retired. He's the one in charge as sole administrator, but then there was a man in charge before called Siminalayi Fubara, the elected governor of that state, but in which the declaration of the state of emergency in that state has gotten him off and suspended for 6 months with his deputy and all the House of Assembly members there. And some decisions have been taken. All the appointees of the government, of that government, are relieved of their duties. And because there is another man in charge. Administrators, local administrators have been appointed at different local governments, but that is not the point. The point is the suspended governor, Siminalayi Fubara, speaking at the weekend, at a function that was, I think, that has to do with the funeral of the former elder statesman and a very true son of the soil, Padwin Clark, in that place, talked about how he was not missing at the government house. In fact, he said his spirit has left the government house. Part of what he said was that I want to ask you, don't you see how better I look? Don't you think rather I'm interested in it? Do you think I'm interested in it rather? If I have my way, I say it here. This is an altar of God. I don't wish going back there. My spirit has left that place long ago. So all of this, we allow you to see, a video, just a part of what he said. And he was responding to some persons who spoke before him, trying to talk about the situation. And the governor, when it was his turn to speak, responded that way. But you should take a look.
The program is a tribute for Paklak. It's not an issue of Siminalayi Fubara. I am not disputing the message God gave to you, my bishop. But in this particular event, is a message to talk about Paklak. Because the way you hammered it, when they live here, that is not the way to be presented. It will be Siminalayi Fubara has gathered his supporters to make statements against the minister and the president. That is not what I need now. What I need now, even some of you, have you asked yourself, do you think I am even interested in going back there? I want to ask you, don't you see how better I look? Do you think I'm interested in it? If I have my way, I say it's here. This is an altar of God. I don't wish going back there. My spirit has left that place long ago. So all this, I want everybody to focus. Please. It's not everything you do. You think there's some fight you don't fight. There's some things you don't do because you need to ask the person. Does it want?
All right. We have with us this morning, joining us virtually, political analyst and, of course, a leader of thought, the DG at the Heritage Center, Dr. Kacha Onunuju. He joins us virtually. Good morning, Dr. Onunuju. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, straight to the matter. I'm sure you have seen that video and a longer one. And what do you think will make Governor Siminalayi Fubara speak in that manner? Or do you think he's just being a politician?
Well, I think nobody should be surprised. This is his historical position for a very long time since this crisis started. At the beginning, while he was still governor, he wanted to walk away, but it was impressed upon by elders to stay on. So I think you're seeing a very simple man who is very contented with his life. And the addition of politics is not just what you think. Don't forget, he served for 8 years at a very lucrative position. So he's a contented man. The governorship notwithstanding. Fubara is only now a representative of some people who believe that their man should be governor. But as a human being, Governor Fubara is a well-made man and a very contented person. So we should take it like that. Secondly, negotiations are ongoing and nothing has yet been concluded, and you must see it as that. So I think his strategy is the very best one. Let him make it known to everybody. He's not desperate to get back there. So whatever he gets will be contenting for him. And that's, I think, is a very good strategy for him to adopt at this point in time.
All right, Dr. Ononuju. Like you rightly said, at some point, Governor Siminalayi Fubara actually wanted to walk away. But like you rightly said, some people said, no, you have to stay there. You have to stand up to your to this man, to your godfather, some people may say. But Dr. Ononuju, I want you to look at this from this angle. Judging by his speech, he said something in his statement, which I took note of. He said, if he had his way, if his wishes would come true, that he doesn't wish to go back there. What does this say about leadership, about politics in Nigeria? Dr. Ononuju, do you think there might be some people in some quarters who are actually imposing this position on him? Or else, why would he say if he had his way, he would walk away?
Well, this is the same way he has expressed while he was governor on the seat. He said to people, he would like to walk away. I don't want to hold this problem. This is not necessary. That tells you this is a very contented man. And that if he had his way, all these shenanigans and cat and mouse plays that are part of the protocols of politics, I'm not cut out for them. Different people are built in different ways. And I believe Governor Fubara should be respected and be seen for who he is. I think Fubara is a good man, and I think Nigerians should give him that benefit of doubt. Let us listen to him. Don't forget, negotiations are ongoing, and he's simply telling you that the conditions he's hearing about, that if he has his way, he will walk away from those conditions and live his life politely. So I think Fubara is doing the right thing. He's not raising too much hopes, so he's just putting it that way for you to understand he's not that desperate about the job. Just like he said earlier, look, I don't want this thing. I'm going to go away. People said, no, please don't do that. Don't chicken out. Stay. You are for there. You are for us. And you are for this particular this purpose going to be the governor that represents our interests, because Nigerian democracy is actually a representative democracy. When you get there, you're not just there on your own. You are there on behalf of those who are with you. In this case, those who voted you. So for me, the Fubara issue should be seen as it is. Don't also forget how it is, how he became governor. You know, Wike had to kill, injure, humiliate, rig the process to make Fubara governor. So for me, I really will, I'm not emotionally attached to any of the positions, either to Wike's positions or to Fubara's position. What I simply see are people who got themselves into power, now having problems about sharing the loot of what it is that they thought that they grabbed. You know, the way it is, grab it, take it and run with it. And that's what you're saying. So let's keep watching what's going on. Okay? I will tell Nigerians, don't attach too much emotions to this.
You know, beyond that, we should look at the context now. At that place, it was a tribute evening to, you know, the former elder statesman, Pa Clark, you know, quite an accomplished man there. And everybody has been speaking before the governor, the Sosambede governor, got the microphone, and he addressed that to say, my lord, you know, was addressing the bishop to say, thank you for everything you have said, because he believes that there might have been divinely, you know, given to you to speak. And, you know, many persons spoke about him and possibly the situation and spoke in support of him. And the man, when he got the mic, said, please, guys, this occasion should not be made about him. It should be a time of respect and tribute to Pa Clark, you know, the remains and his legacy and all of those things. So don't make this about me. So there are some communications person that will say is just one, as far as that occasion is concerned, he wants to be noble. He doesn't want the attention to be shifted from the reason why they are gathered to himself, who is just another guest in that place. Maybe that's why he tried to play it down. That doesn't mean that, you know, he means what he's saying. And one will say, might not be the regular politician, he's still a politician. Because you know why, Dr. Ononuju, the position of being a governor is a very, very great one in which anybody in his lifetime that has that position to be a governor, you are just one out of millions of people. So it should be for a person that is very interested, somebody that is raring to go, that irrespective of the challenge is buoyed to deliver the best. But now we have a man who say, I'm not interested, my spirit has left, I don't want to go back there. Will it not be unfair on the people of Rivers State to have a disinterested man to come back, that is, if he comes back, to come and rule them? Wouldn't that be unfair to them? If he's disinterested, let him, you know, leave. There is a way to leave.
Well, don't also forget, this is, as you rightly pointed out, a tribute night for Pa Clark. So he's simply restating to the crowd what it was that he told Pa Clark. I don't want to be this. I'm going to walk away. Before Pa Clark and others said, no, 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 don't say that, my son. Stay on, do this job. So he is there to repeat that same thing to Pa Clark's memory, to say, look, I don't really care about this job. I love my life. I'm contented with who I am already. It's not why should I kill myself about it? So Pa Clark in death is hearing Fubara repeat the same thing that Fubara told him while Pa Clark was alive. That I don't really care about this job, sir. I could walk away, but Pa Clark said, no, stay there. You are a representative of our people who now want a taste of River State since after the creation of Bayelsa State. Don't forget that. That's what he represents. Since Bayelsa was created, it's been the Igbo-speaking part of River State that have been ruling River State, and that's what it is. Peter Odele from Obaro. Obaro is an Ndoni, and that Ndoni is an Igbo word for Ndi Onu Iyi. Ndi Onu Uyi, within the Obaro Basin. The Obaro Basin, by the way, is actually the River Niger Basin. The Igbo word for River Niger is Oshimiri Obaro, and Odele is from Obaro. There's Obaro in River State, and there's another Obaro in Atani area of Anambra State. So after Odele, you now had Chibika Michi, another Igbo man. You now, before that, you had Ngozi Omehi, another Igbo man. After that, you now have another Igbo man, Nyesom Wike. Then this is the first time a Riverine man had now come on. Allow him to rule, and no, we're having this. That's why you're seeing the emotions from the Riverine populations going as far as Pa Clark's far riverine area in Delta State. So all riverine Nizon people are emotionally attached to the fate of Governor Fubara. And that's what he should understand. He doesn't just represent himself, he represents a lot of emotions in that area who think that since the creation of Bayelsa and the core Izon being removed to Bayelsa, where they are now a majority, you know, because don't forget, the deputy governor of Bayelsa State is not an Izon man. Okay, that's Lawrence Ewurujakpo, is not Izon. So, but in Rivers State, the Igbos have majority. And what the game is, how does the Igbo blend that mix? How do they respect the remnants of the Izon blended people in Rivers State? And that, I believe, Wike has not done very well in managing that relationship. And that's why we're having this amount of emotions. So if you're asking me, I will tell you, they need to manage themselves. Well, Fubara is the first flashpoint we've seen, but going forward, we still need to have those Igbos in Rivers understand that they must blend the relationship that they share with the riverine people who are still remaining there, you know, and this is where this problem is. The creation of Bayelsa and the remnants of the small riverine people in River State who now feel that Port Harcourt that was promised to the Izon during the Civil War has been taken away after Abacha created Bayelsa State. And suddenly you have an Igbo majority and the Izon don't have a say. Now that they have a riverine governor, allow him to rule. No, what do we have? We're having all this complex maneuverings that does not sit well with the riverine population, and that's why you're seeing this kind of emotion. So at this night of tributes for Pa Clark, the revered Izon leader, you're now seeing him saying to Papa, I really, like I told you before, sir, I really, my soul is gone. Papa, my soul is not in this thing again. I want to walk away. Can't you see? I'm looking better, sir. But he is communicating with Pa Clark as he's talking. So he is rephrasing the same old conversation that they had. And that's how you should see it. That's what he's doing.
All right, Dr. Ononuju, 2 questions from me. Like you rightly said, you said you see him, you see Siminalayi Fubara as a good man, that is a good man. Question number 1, if Fubara is a good man, as you said, why did he accept this? He knew what he was getting into. We once had a guest on this show who said that Fubara actually sold his soul to the devil by accepting the offer. I mean, it was unpicked. You said it. I mean, he was brought from nowhere. They did all sorts of things to get him into office. So the question is, if he's a good man, like you said, why did he accept this offer? He knew exactly what he was getting into. That's number 1. Number 2, judging from that speech, looking at him, looking at Fubara, I do not need to be a psychologist to see that this is a man who is tired. I see a man who is tired. He's tired of everything. It clearly shows that he's tired of the struggle and he wants to rest, he wants to relax. So don't you think that these people, the Ijaw nation, should just let him be at this point?
No, it doesn't work that way. You probably do not understand it. The Izon are emotionally attached to Port Harcourt. Don't forget, historically, Port Harcourt used to be Iguacha until it was changed to honor Lord Vernon Harcourt, who was at the time Secretary of the Colonies in the British government in 1913. Its principal port, it was the principal port of the Arrow Confederacy. And prior to the Nigerian Civil War, it was dominated by the Arrow. Even during the political days where the British were there, you had an Arrow man from Uguta Emeshi, Nzimiro, he was mayor. After that, another Arrow from Nkwere in Imo. He was also mayor, that is Francis Umelo Ihekwaba. So it's been an Arrow town. Port Harcourt was also a principal port of the Arrow Confederacy that lasted from 1640 to 1903. That was decimated after the Anglo-Arrow War. So this is the game. Then Port Harcourt now get promised to the Izon in 1966-67 by the Nigerian federal troops during the Civil War. If you side with the federal side, we will give you Port Harcourt. And the Izon took it that way. And then River State was created with a mix of Izon majority. But after the creation of Bayelsa by the Kanuri head of state, General Abacha, the Igbo became the main principal dominant tribe in River State. Managing that has been a tricky thing. That's why some Igbos would like to say, no, I'm not Igbo, to think that, no, it's not true. Denying your tribe, your heritage does not confuse the Izon. The Izon know very well that Nyesom Wike is Igbo, because Ikwere are descendants of migrant traders from Nkwere. So you cannot change these things. And that's why the Izon are emotionally attached to Port Harcourt. Getting it back, you know, it's not a go-come thing. They lost this after the creation of Bayelsa State, and they've not had that chance. And that's why I told you, for 24 years, from the place of Peter Otunayodele to Nyesom Wike, Igbos have been ruling, and the Izon have never had a chance to get back again at this particular state. That's why the bringing of a man from Igbo-dominated Opopo, but in the riverine areas, the Izon could claim that as their son, and he was actually being nice to them. Suddenly, the Wike catastrophe occurred, And now we're speaking about the governor being removed by president, because Governor Wike was actually going to engineer an impeachment. He wouldn't care. You see, the problem about Rivers State is it's one thing to get a court judgment. It's a very difficult to implementing that judgment in a place where the Chief Justice and the rest of the people are loyal to the governor. These things were not going to work, and that's why you saw the president sensing that there's a logjam and a crisis, moved in there, removed the governor, but now bringing in Abbas. Abbas is totally loyal to the intentions and mechanics of Wike's mindset, and that's why you're seeing nobody is happy with what's going on right now from the riverine area about what's going on in Rivers State. So yes, it's an emotional war by the Ezo to get back what they thought was promised them in the 60s by the federal troops during the Civil War, and now they want it back.
Yes, Daniel asked a question initially to say,
I really wanted them to address that.
Posited that this man in question is a good man. How good will he have been, by taking that offer up? Because many persons saw it coming. How will you describe such a man? They knew what they did to get him into power, and politically speaking, possibly Sim Fubara will not be in the first 50, when it comes to political considerations. And, he was brought from being an accountant general to the governor. Some things might have played out. So how will you continue to maintain that such a man remains a good man?
I didn't say he's a good man.
Okay.
Sim Fubara was a tool used by Wike. So he, to himself and his thoughts, yes, he has a good heart. What I said is he's contented, for having acted as a being counter accountant for 8 years for Wike. Of course, he moved a lot of the money. He is in the know about a lot of the fraud. So in order to protect him, the same man Wike trusted to do the accounting magics, Wike now put him there. Wike was simply using him, both as an accountant and also as a proxy governor. All that he was being used, and I believe he cannot exonerate himself from being in the pool of those who seized Rivers State by force, working with Wike. And then what you're now having is they are having a war trying to share this loot. So for me, you wouldn't call him a good man, no. He is simply, as I said earlier, a contented man. He is contented with how far he's come. He does not like how rough it is now that his boss, that he had worked with for past 8 years when the man was governor, is suddenly now turning on him. And this is the problem,
Dr. Catch, let me quickly add this. At that event, it said we need to be focused. Our evening here is about Per Clark. It's not about Fubara, please. And like I said, it's about Per Clark. Every other thing said here, every other admonition by whoever, is your personal view. And it does not speak or does not present the purpose of this evening. He went further to say that his supporters should desist from doing things just because they want to do them. But he wants them. And he is now quoted to have said, I'm the one wearing the shoes. I know the solution to my problem. I know how to work to solve the problem. Now, many persons are drawing the inference to say whatever was said in that place to support him or to make the other party look like the bad person, possibly something is going on and he doesn't want that chances to be spoiled. Do you see it that way? To say, don't spoil it.
Yes, you're very correct.
I know where I am right now, please.
Yes, you are correct. Because if you also listen to the words of Governor Wike, former Governor Wike, he was saying the same thing, that Fubara should dissuade his supporters from making inflammatory statements in public that are not in tune with the realities of their negotiations. And I think Fubara now played into that to tell them, whatever you're saying here, you're on your own. You don't understand how I feel. You don't wear the shoes, I wear the shoes. He's trying to send a message to the other side too, that he is not the owner of these positions and the emotions that have been expressed by these people. So he has said his own, and that he probably, amongst those who understand it, he's telling them to please stop from making the inflammatory statements that you're making that have been attributed to me, because there are a lot of things that we're doing that don't seem to be in line with a lot of the things that you people are saying here. or the way that I want this thing to be received by the people on the other side on the negotiating table. So I think he has done quite a lot of things and said a lot of things. He has spoken in, in small coded forms, and I believe when he goes back to the negotiating table, he will be able to tell the negotiators on the other side, you heard what I said, I disown what they were saying, and I told them that I am not part of what they're saying, and I do not want what they're saying to be attributed to my positions.
Right.
I think he has done very well.
All right, Dr. Nonju, looking at all these shenanigans in River State right now, it is clear, it is crystal clear that Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, is actually controlling River State. What does that say about our democracy in Nigeria, in a nation where we are supposed to be practicing democracy, and we have someone, a strong man, who is controlling a state, and he's doing it openly. He even said Fubara came to him to beg him with 2 APC governors. My question is, what does this say about democracy in Nigeria when we know that there are some individuals who are more powerful than institutions in the country?
Well, you simply described it. The country is currently in a captured mode. And when you see state capture in effect and in practice, and then you see the protocols that seem to, massage and sustain that state capture, you would understand. So for all I say, our democracy right now has some what you would call a pause. And until we get to where we should be, I blame President Buhari for everything, him and his cabal. It was him that did this. It was him who did his acrobatics and installed what he installed. What we are only now seeing are the consequences of Buhari's actions. So whatever it is that you say, I put the blame at those who instrumented and brought this about on the country. So for me, and that's why you see a lot of us who are commentators, we will never forgive Buhari for the way he has destroyed the country. Look at the security problem. You're talking about River State. That's where you're having an argument about the governance of the state. That in the first place, what happened? It was stolen, and Wike stole it, and with the support from Buhari and his INEC and the judiciary, he kept what he stole. And then the man he gave what he stole is not able to organize with him on how they will share the loot. And that's why you're seeing the fight. So for me, I should not waste my emotions on the happenings in River State. Why? I'm not happy at what brought it about in the very first place. So let us just know very well that this will not go forever. Look at, as I'm saying earlier, the security situation in the country. Say how messed up the country is.
All right.
So, but the only good thing I can say on this is Nigerians are now aware that we actually don't have a free country. If people who do not speak any Nigerian language, in this case, most of them speak French and Bambara, are wielding guns in our bushes and seizing our forests all over the place, we cannot be said to be okay. So River State we're discussing, but the rest of the country is also in a fix.
Well, we'll keep speaking about these issues, but I want you to please stay with us. We'll go on this quick break because we have another topic to look into. And it is when the leader, the chairman of the ruling party at the center in the country says, you know what, whatever comes into play, if a one-party state is what the people want, then it's no problem. Many persons are worrying. Dr. Cash, stay with us. And of course, we'll go on this quick break. Good people, we'll make a return. Stay with us.